Well, the Richard North hype train rolls on into the quarter-finals of the Euro Tour, and maybe he's starting to believe his own hype if he didn't already. He's his own hype man, but I think he might have just attempted a little dance as he got on stage there, Richard North. Who does he think he is? Dimitri Van den Berg? Man from Hampshire. Uncharted territory for him on the Euro Tour. Never made it to a final session in these events, but he's already taken out the world champion and the world number 3, Rob Cross. Played some excellent stuff to overcome voltage. Can he defuse Ron the Bomb Meulenkamp and set up a meeting with the world number 1, Michael van Gerwen? It is MVG who awaits in the semi-final. Ron has made a semi on the Euro Tour before, just the once. Can he repeat the trick? Rob Malarkey alongside me, Dan Dawson, for the second quarter-final of the European Darts Open, live from the Osterman Arena in Leverkusen in front of a packed-out crowd.
Well, if there were any prizes, any titles on offer for the number of 180s hit this weekend, Ron Meulenkamp would be a genuine contender.
Ron to throw first. Game on.
2 against Van den Berg in his opening match, 7 against Darrell Gurney. Just the 5 against Justin Pipe earlier today. But Richard North, with the very notable scalp of the world champion Rob Cross under his belt already today, winning 6-5. 6-5 win yesterday against Gerwyn Price as well.
60.
So much to like about the way Northie's gone about his business this weekend. A 160 checkout against Cross as well that really stood out in the course of that one. He had to withstand a lot of pressure, and here he is in the quarterfinals of the Euro Tour events and the potential for meeting Michael van Gerwen in the last 4 later. As you say, Dan, not uncharted territory this for Ron Meulenkamp. He made the semis in Riesa last year. Had the good fortune, I suppose, of coming up against an unseeded player on that occasion as well in the shape of Dennis Nielsen. I suspect this will be a very different sort of encounter.
Yeah, there are parallels in this tournament and Ron's run in Riesa, in that he took out a seeded player in the second round. It was Darrell Gurney here, it was Michael Smith.
140.
Riesa. And the draw kind of opened up. His next 2 games are against unseeded opponents. He managed to come through them, and he was only beaten by Peter Snakebite Wright in that semi-final.
When again,
60.
he hit 4 180s, hit 5 180s against Nielsen in that quarter-final last year. And he averaged over 105 against Peter Wright as well. He might need something similar if he gets through this one to face Michael van Gerwen. Even that might not be enough.
Peter Wright, of course, still in the hunt for the title. Back-to-back ton-plus averages for Peter Wright, who appears to have roared back into form after a kind of a mini-crisis over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Peter Wright will be on the way against Joe Cullen, the number 7 seed, in our third quarter-final match. The winner of that faces either Mervyn King or James Wade. And fascinating clash that will be. That's a repeat of the Masters final from a few years ago, a repeat of a former Premier League final, that one. If you're wondering where that dart was supposed to be, it was aimed at the bullseye there for Richard North, the first one, with Ron not on a finish. A lot of players do like going bullseye or 25 first dart for a 1-2-1. Tidied it up to leave double top for a break of throw.
40.
Taking his time.
Yeah, just a minor adjustment with the flights there as well for Richard North, and a bit of a grimace here as he steps up, but looking at tops here for the opening leg.
20.
Well, the line was right. He just didn't quite give it enough to use those other darts and just cannon into the double top. Staying on the 18s. Doesn't get the treble, so it's just the ball.
55. Richard Uruguayan 20.
And all he could find was a single 19. Northie with another opportunity at double 10 this time. Well, double 4 then instead. The Cameron Menzies route to glory here, and it comes off very nicely indeed for him. Must have been speaking to Cameron earlier on about that.
Yeah, Cameron managed to pull that one off against Michael van Gerwen. Very nearly repeated the trick with an accidental double-double finish later in the game. Had he done so, it could have been very, very different this weekend, because he was right there with MVG at the time.
108.
And Richard North makes the most of that little bit of fortune. Kicks off 180 on his own throw. And you're right, with the number of maximums that Ron Meulenkamp has hit this weekend, you would think Northie's going to have to fire in a few of his own to keep pace with him, although Ron hasn't got going at all as yet.
41.
And I suspect as well, Northie will have to be a little bit more convincing on his doubles as well as he was there, or than he was there.
Just the one meeting between these two. Came back in February in the opening Players' Championship event of the year. In the very first round, Ron Meulenkamp coming through that 164, went on to make the quarterfinals. And that is his first 180 of this encounter, his 15th of the weekend. Oh, he was desperate to find another one.
135.
Would have left tops had he fired in his second maximum there, Richard North, but he's applied some pressure.
Yes, he finds the treble 17, so looking at the bullseye to level.
Well, this one didn't die and get yanked south into the 19s. It was closer, not close enough. Now, Richard North, there are options of this. 15s, 19s could go at the ball. Well, he's gone 15s and he gives him 2 darts at tops. Fantastic first dart from Richard North.
Superb. Really thought about that, didn't he? Made his mind up, went for it, committed to the shot. Double 10, and Northie leads by 2 legs to 0. Despite Ron Meulenkamp posting his first 180 of the match. Said at the outset it was difficult to call. Only one place separating these two in the order of merit standings right now as well. North at 49, Meulenkamp at 48. So there's another illustration as to how this how this match could be a very tight affair, but Richard North has opened up a 2-0 lead, although Michael Smith will tell you 2-0 leads don't really count for a great deal. That's exactly what he had against James Wade earlier. Wade turning it around in fine style.
To be fair, I think James Wade was averaging 130 at the point he was 2-0 down. Absolutely astonishing game of the weekend, really.
Yeah.
In terms of the standard, certainly. 106 averages the pair as James Wade won that 164.
Yeah, I bumped into Michael Smith or just before the evening session. He was on his way outside, and he was not in a good frame of mind. He was not in a good mood, I would say.
Well, the first words he uttered when he walked back in the practice room after that defeat were, "If I could hit doubles me, I'd be a good dart player." That is very good from Ron Meulenkamp. Not a 180, but it's as good as.
Well, 23 away. Just having a look where Meulenkamp is as well. Meulenkamp is very well placed to get his leg on the board, or his first leg on the board. Chris Dobie watching on there. He's playing no further part this weekend, beaten by Joe Cullen in a really good match earlier, 6-5. Needs to put some pressure on here just in case Meulenkamp doesn't take out this double 20 finish. But still only down at 135 anyway. Is this Meulenkamp's first leg on the board? There's your answer.
Fourth leg is for Richard to throw first. Game on.
Вирусная угроза обнаружена.
Has North qualified for next week as well in Munich? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head.
I'll tell you in just a moment.
I'm just thinking if he has, or if either of these two are involved. It's a great opportunity because the next tournament comes around so quickly, and you can really thrive on this and build on this and take this form into next weekend.
No, we've had 4 UK qualifiers. North has qualified for a couple of them, obviously this one. And he's qualified for the German Darts Open.
In Saarbrücken.
Yeah. But he hasn't qualified for the other two, the one in Austria and the one in Munich next weekend. So it will be his last crack on the Euro Tour until mid-April.
100.
Ron in a similar position in that he didn't qualify for the one in Munich next week. And of course we haven't had the European qualifiers
81.
For the next two.
So he'll no doubt be turning up to them. Well, he is turning up to them in some form. He averaged 101 this afternoon in a 6-1 battering of Justin Pipe.
137.
And after a bit of a sluggish start, his average is up in the mid to high 90s now.
59.
Whereas North's average has just dropped off a cliff.
These two just plodding through this particular leg, although Meulenkamp is
138.
just injecting something here.
Oh, looking good for the break back, isn't he, to level the game up at 2 apiece. We did say 2-0 leads aren't worth a great deal.
100. Ron Uruguay, 72.
16's the target. Okay, he's
Not
at
the
7.
seven.
Does he go 15 ball? No, well, he probably should.
32.
Probably should have taken the safety route because Richard North took out 160 against Rob Cross in a crucial situation that just gave him the edge, and he managed to hold off the world champion. 140 checkout here is not beyond the realms, although it is after that first dart.
78.
Not having much luck on the bullseye either of these guys.
Game shot on the fourth leg. Ron Meulenkamp.
Well,
Good leg
a
in
couple of
front,
legs,
through
both
first.
one on double top for Ron Meulenkamp. Checkouts of 40 in both of them. And has the break back.
Game on.
So effectively, it's a first to 4 game, and should make a note really, they've changed the format of the European Tour for this year. So it does have kind of a different feel in that once you get to the semi-finals and the final, you've got to win more legs. So instead of it being best of 11, like every single Pro Tour event, or every single other Pro Tour event I should say, now it's first to
121.
7 legs in the semis and first to 8 legs in the final.
Do you endorse that move?
Mixed feelings.
100.
I like that whole idea. I mean, these have the feel. They're not major tournaments. They're Pro Tour events. They're Pro Tour events at a big stage with a crowd and various trappings of major. I mean, they've got bigger crowds than some of these, and they have in a lot of the major tournaments, sometimes bigger than the World Championship. And I do like the fact that you get to see 2 players, or the 4 players in the semi-finalists, who must have been throwing well, play for a little bit longer for the entertainment of everybody watching at home and everybody in the crowd.
And I suppose it also sets the semis and final apart a little bit.
Yeah.
Gives them a bit more.
I get that, you know,
allure,
you
yeah.
have longer
140.
formats to see these guys are obviously in form go and show what they can do. There's more darts, ultimately. I'm all for more darts. Now then, that is just the second 180 for Ron Meulenkamp, but it's come at a vital time.
Certainly has.
North was looking good to break back there and go back into the lead, but right now, Ron Meulenkamp, now, does he go 25 for double 18? Because neither man's had much luck on a 25 and bull.
Well, 3 double 4.
Oh!
He's miles away.
Uruguay,
Absolutely
80.
miles away. Well, hang on a minute.
They've gone 7 for double 2, which
I assumed he was going to go 3, but obviously he was
Well,
going for
so did-
7,
yeah.
yeah.
he's only gone 7 for double 2, which I quite like, both down the bottom of the board. However, he's gone 2 double tops there, and that's the danger because well, he cut down that target by half.
Big leg is
Nobody
Richard
liked
through
it.
first. Game
And he
on.
has got the break back. Now, Ron Meulenkamp, that is a horrific error. 180, perfect, followed by busting 61 in 2 darts. Less than perfect, and that was less than perfect. Richard North, pretty sure, would have a few choice words to say about that, but he is wise,
81.
Northie. He knows the DRA lurk.
Well, that was a leg in which North was in control. Meulenkamp hit back and then North smashed it.
125.
And you feel it. This match could boil down to a leg like that in the decider. It could be
46.
a long drawn-out affair, this one. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it went all the way, and I think we could have a final leg that is perhaps error-ridden because of the nerves and the tension and what's at stake.
Well, maybe. It's interesting. Ron Meulenkamp this
59.
afternoon, he knew he was going up against Justin Pipe, another unseeded player. He knew it was an opportunity to make the final session, and he raised his game. He stepped up and really delivered.
108.
That's a maximum for Richard North. That's his second. 101 average for Ron this afternoon. And having made a semi-final on the Euro Tour before, I was kind of expecting him to be playing at a similar sort of level tonight. I mean, it's not bad. Mid-90s. Northie, he's not been here before. This is big for him, and he's still it's not completely alien, but it's very, very different and new for him playing on these big stages. He hasn't got the experience that Ron has, even though he's only a couple of years younger. But Ron's been around for a significantly longer period of time and has more experience on the big stages. Played a couple of times at Lakeside, played a couple of times at Ali Pali. Obviously had a semi-final at one of these before, and you would have thought there'd be a few more nerves for Northie than there is for Ron.
Ron is having a really good think about this. Look at this.
I mean, desperately wants to stay on the 20s, doesn't he? There's even a single 20.
Great
dart.
Worth the wait, wasn't it?
60.
Bided his time there. Moved from the left-hand side to the right and did a good long stare. And Richard North here, a long way from the trebles.
20.
Well, that first dart,
On you require 80.
I mean, it was a horror. Now, an 80 checkout is what North produced in the last leg. This looks a little bit easier for Ron because he's not blocking as much of that double top bed.
40.
But he can't find
You
it.
require 40.
Yeah, Northie made absolutely sure with that second dart to tidy things up, but he has another opportunity here.
Game shot on the 6th leg. Richard
Well,
North.
his heart's pounding. Little wonder Richard North. He's not totally convincing, but he's 4-2 up. That's the thing, and he'll be delighted with that.
Well, they're both hitting less than a third of their darts at the bottom. And that just means that they're both getting chances, and it's just whoever can get over the line first. And you can tell, I mean, it looks to me like Richard North is nervous, very nervous.
And again,
and you're seeing these wild darts, and he's taking extra time at some visits because he's just trying to calm himself down, and then other ones he just wants to let it go as soon as possible. That double 10, actually, he raced into that one, his third dart, and found the target. And sometimes
44.
it's working, sometimes it's not. It is very, very erratic stuff. And I know he's got a 2-leg lead once again, but in this kind of mood, anything could happen.
58.
You could see him going an entire 2 legs barely hitting the treble, or you could see him just chucking a 180 just because he wants it to happen quickly. He just goes into autopilot.
60.
well, it won't go down as a classic, but there is a big prize on offer here for either of these two.
Better, nice rhythm. That's much better. There you see Richard North.
Really good. Just put all that previous stuff behind him there.
Needs to settle into a rhythm, try and find some way of getting comfortable. It's an alien situation. It's not, these stages are still quite new to him. I know he won a game at the Grand Prix, went to the World Championship. Again, we're seeing that first dart into the 1.
77.
Well, that's tidied it up very nicely for Shanghai. Meulenkamp, what's he got in response here? Can't really afford another break of throw, you feel here. Switching downstairs.
59.
That's not enough. He needed to find that treble 19. As it is, North will be thinking, I've got 2 visits from here. The thing is, just stay straight. No more ones. Oh, my word.
Bang on cue.
My word.
I'm losing count of the number of times he's done that tonight. But again, he might get away with it. That's the thing. He's
80.
He's tied that up again really nicely with that final dart. Meulenkamp looking at 138, and North will be hoping that he doesn't take this out.
Oh, I thought that was the right decision to stay there. It would have left double 9, but he quite fancied it. In fact, it was a little bit low in the bed, but the way that Ron Meulenkamp's been hitting that 60 all weekend, he would have fancied it. Now, the 5-2 to go within a leg of the semi-finals. Richard North, can he do it? We've been here before. He puts it right. He puts it right.
Eighth leg is Richard to throw first. Game on.
3 breaks to 1. That's the story of the match so far. Error-ridden game. Nerve-riddled game as well, you have to say. But Northey is just about doing enough, and once again he's strayed away into that 1 bet. 43 he starts off with.
If he can find a way to get over the line, and he's obviously favourite, but by no means guaranteed with the way this game has gone. It wouldn't surprise me if he actually performed a lot better against Michael van Gerwen in the semi-final. You wouldn't give him a prayer playing like this.
Because it's almost like a free hit for him.
Exactly.
Anything that comes off is great.
91.
And he's almost playing with the house's money effectively with that one. So
there's only 500 quid in the rankings between these two, in the entire world rankings on the 2-year system. So, you know, they are very, very evenly matched according to the rankings, and Ron has a little bit more experience, but there's not been much between them. And you look at that, everything's in 5 or 6 visits to the board, which looks quite neat and tidy, but there's just been
84.
too many errors and too many scruffy darts. And the finishing certainly has left a bit to be desired. But if he goes up against MVG, then it is a free roll. Nobody's expecting him to go and overturn the world #1, particularly after playing in this manner. And he might be able to go and give him a game. Got to win this one first, though.
And I've got to say, I'm still half expecting this to go all the way. I really fancy Meulenkamp. I really fancy Meulenkamp to suddenly just find something extra once again. He's not really doing himself justice here tonight in this one. He can play a lot better than this, and he has played a lot better than this.
We did this afternoon.
And in Risa as well.
60.
And I just think overall, he's not really demonstrating what he's capable of here. North doesn't like that. Below the treble 20 bed, that's a little bit closer, but
got to
still
go for
not
the
enough.
bullseye here.
Too much there. Too much there.
Leaves himself 160 if he does. Well,
well,
okay, that's the other option.
Well, that surely's opened the door here for Meulenkamp to launch an assault here on the break. 40 adrift. Oh my word. Well, that's a good recovery with the second. And the third, more like it. Down to 101.
Ron, you require 101.
Well, could be another breaker throw here. Great dart. Just top of the shop.
81. Richard, you require 122.
Well, it'd be some way to win it, wouldn't it? His highest checkout is 85. Treble 18 and bull puts him in the semis. He could do it. He could do it. Could he do it? Could he do it? Can he do it? Will he do it?
82.
It's a good leave.
Ron, you require 20.
Crowd are gripped. They're barely making a noise here. Just mesmerising stuff in a strange sort of way. Double 5, that's a long way off. And Meulenkamp knows it. He knows he can't afford to give North another opportunity here. Richard North to set up a semi-final showdown with Michael van Gerwen in the European Darts Open, now looking at double 10, and the agony goes on, and I'm still anticipating a deciding leg here, Dan.
He did look to rush those, didn't he? He just wanted to let go and hope that was the end of it. Oh my word.
No score.
Oh my word.
1-10.
Richard North has gone for a wander. Now, what does he do? Does he go straight at it? He does like double top. Double five's right next to it. But you run the risk of doing what Ron did. But not if you finish first start. It was ugly, it was scrappy, it was very, very nervy. But ultimately, Richard North is through to the semi-finals on the European Tour for the first time in his career. Richard North, the bricklayer from Hampshire, is going to take on the world #1, Michael van Gerwen, for a place in the final of the European Darts Open. Here is Northie. We're going to look at the other half of the draw in a moment with Peter Wright and Joe Cullen.
I know, not the best man, but a win is a win, man. And it's the first semi-final on the European Tour.
To be fair, I've been playing better on the Pro Tour and losing. This weekend I've played not good at all, and I'm into the semi-final. Darts makes no sense sometimes, but I'll take it.
I mean, you beat Gerwin Price, you beat Rob Cross. That's a very good tournament.
Yeah, they're both off their game, and I'll take my chances when I'm giving them. Take me a few tries, but I will get there in the end.
Mighty Might is waiting now, Michael van Gerwen. You played him twice. Till that point, no win for you.
The last time I played him on one of these stages, I lost 6-0, so if I can get one leg, I'll be happy.
No, 6-4 the last time you played, this year. UK Open qualifier, yeah.
Yeah, but on the European stage, I didn't get one. But no, I'm a better player now. I'm getting more used to it. I'll give the best player in the world a good game on my day. Hopefully today's my day. You never know.
Yeah, cool. Richard, thank you very much. Also, nächster Gegner ist Michael van Gerwen, der sagt irgendwie verrückt. Auf der Pro Tour habe ich so oft so gut gespielt und die Matches